All righty, guys.
Good evening,
Welcome.
everybody. Welcome to AI Live, our 4th episode. We'd like to welcome you here. And
Yes.
we love that we can combine science and art and everything aesthetic that really helps create our pathway into all this aesthetics that we do,
Yep.
which is really kind of fun. So, it's all kind of combining science and art, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. And especially as we do more trainings, and you really kind of see who really has that artistry and who has the science and who actually can combine them and really, really put it together.
And who
Those
ca-
are the
and
ones
who
that are going
can't.
to be really good. And who can't. Shh, Lori. Don't be mean.
We train. It's really interesting. It's like sometimes you can be an artist, and sometimes it's just not your calling. And we train a lot of people around the country, and we see it's some people have it like it connects. Their brain connects with their hand, and they just got it.
Those are the ones that will definitely push the field and take us to the next level. And I hope it's one of you guys out there to take us to the next level. And then there are most of us are followers, and we're just hoping to get a little bit better and a little bit better. And so hopefully you guys will take a lot out of these little sessions that we have with AI Live. But how was your weekend?
I'm still whirling from my weekend. So
we both are.
Yeah, we both are. We were so Saturday we had our first dental course, hands-on dental course here in Southern California. And we brought in quite a few dentists who had already done our virtual course online. So we require the virtual course to be done and the test to be done. And they come here and do the hands-on. And it was fun. It was awesome to teach dentists who know a lot about needles and syringes and anatomy to kind of teach them something that's a little out of their league and something new. It's really fun.
They just got approved to be able to do things peri-orally to adjust it, like orthodontics, with like master injections for people who have the bruxism and grinding of the teeth or just balancing out their lips and stuff like that. So excited for the dentists out there. So if you know any dentists that are looking to jump into the field, check our website out and refer them.
They're still texting and DMing me going, it was the best course ever. My family wants me to do them now. So it was really fun. It was really great. Yeah, and it gives the dentists a way of expanding their practice.
Right.
It's a whole new revenue source too, but it's so important to know how to do it correctly and learn by anatomical guidelines and landmarks, and super, super important. And then Sunday I did Med Spa Mastery, so that was really, really fun. That's totally unplugged. It's awesome. So it's a panel of a lot of professional aesthetic providers, surgeons, and things like that, and we could say whatever we wanted, and that was really cool.
That's why we have this, right?
Yeah,
So we can
unplug.
talk about unplugged
Right.
things and hopefully be honest as far as our own experiences
Yeah.
with different things. And then Monday, I think both of us had trainings for Galderma, probably.
Yep.
I was doing some filming for MERS and stuff like that. So we're busy. I
We're
didn't get to
busy.
go out and eat this weekend, really.
I didn't either. I ate my salad in my car last night before I drove home from the training. So
Yeah,
it's busy.
it is.
all
Hopefully
good
we'll get to relax this weekend. You are.
I'm going to the lake next week, so
Oh.
I'm going to be on a houseboat at Lake Powell. So
Lucky you.
yay!
Lucky you.
No
Well, you
phone.
deserve it.
Don't call me. No phone.
You deserve it. You can bother her on IG. Just keep DMing her all the questions because she has time to answer it all, right?
I try.
Alrighty, so a little into housekeeping
Okay.
before we jump into our host special guest.
I did. So we wanted to let you guys know we have special courses coming up. Buy one, get one free. So if you buy one at $199, you get the second course free of all of our 1-hour webinars. So just the month of October, you buy one, get one free. And we have a lot of webinars that people have really given us great feedback. Thank you so much if you've seen some of them.
Feedback
Have
important.
given us, please give us feedback. But people have given us great feedback on it. And here's some of the topics of some of our webinars. Body sculpting, facial differences between males and females. Really good webinar for you guys to know how to inject and how to look at males versus females and what the differences are, how to not feminize a man or masculinize a woman. Awesome. Perfect lip. We have laser physics. So if you want to get into doing lasers, you need to know laser physics to learn lasers. Hands and earlobe injections, in nose injections, lips, temples, under eyes, doing Sculptra, doing hyperdilute radius, a lot of these different things, how to use cannulas. So there's a lot of different webinars. So take a peek on there, and it's buy one, get one free, and they're $199. So we tried to make it really affordable for everybody to really be home, learn at your leisure, and enjoy those.
Yeah.
They're from us to you.
Next, we have our amazing VI Must. So this is our virtual international. It's a Mint specific user. So if you are a Mint user or you're not and you're into threads, this is going to be an awesome conference. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be October 24th. And they're inviting a bunch of different practitioners in here. Their medical director is going to be taking a cadaver head and showing you what threads look like in the cadaver head and what planes. So it's going to be a super awesome virtual conference, and just for you guys to just delve into threads. If you don't know anything about threads or want to start learning about it, I think it's a great way to just dip your toe into it and really, really get an understanding. It's only $99 for your regular admission, but you have till Friday. If you use the code AILive49, you'll get it for $49.
Cool.
So you'll get
Cool.
you save $50 off. So AILive49.
And this is a whole day Threads conference, you guys. This is all day. And you are going to see, you're going to pop in at different rooms where different threads are being placed in different areas of the face, the cadaver dissection. So it's just, this is invaluable if you do threads.
Yep.
Any brand, but we love using Mint too. But
Yep.
you will learn so much by this, and for the price, it's crazy. Even for $99, it's crazy.
Yep.
So sign up for that. Okay, go on and sign up for that. And then we have our next AI Live next month, which is going to be November 3rd, all about rheology. Now, if some of you have never heard the word rheology, we're going to explain that and what it has to do with fillers and how you choose your fillers according to the rheological factors that are involved. So super, super important. It has to do with longevity and how they interact in tissue.
Yeah, just having choices on what levels you want to inject into and what products you want to use, especially as more HA fillers
Yeah.
are coming on the marketplace. It's important for you guys to understand the basics, how to understand what the characteristics of your fillers are. So you're going to choose the right one for the right area and the right patient. So tune in, bring all your questions with regards to fillers, I guess, because we're going to go and dive into rheology.
Yeah, so it'll be Gideon and I. We're going to be just chit-chatting and really just, like I said, unfiltered, chatting about what we like, what we don't like, everything about rheology. So you must know rheology to know what fillers to choose to put in your patient. So the rheological factors are everything. And, we both have been to trainings before where we've trained people who have been doing this for 10, 15 years, and they've never heard the word rheology. And it's really important to know what you're putting in your patient's face, because we owe it to our patients to know exactly what we're doing to them and how
And it
it's going to
confers a
affect
little
them.
bit into the safety aspect of it,
Exactly.
knowing all of that. So we'll
Exactly.
dive into that next month.
Yeah.
First Tuesday of every month is our AI Live. So we'll see you there at 6
Put on your
p.m.
calendars, you guys.
And let's see, we have November 21st, which is going to be our Threads specialty hands-on course here at the Aesthetic Immersion in Brea. So we have two, I guess, routes that you can do. You can do our virtual didactic course, which is a couple of hour course on basic threads, really teaches you about the basic anatomy of threads and all of that stuff, how we differentiate it all. And then there's two different routes you can take. You can take a virtual observational route where you can watch us from home and watch all the models and the students that are here. And so that's going to be $497 or $500. You can do our didactic at home and then observe, which is an amazing deal. But if you want to get hands-on, which is highly recommended, this is not something, threads are not something you want to do just watching someone do it and say, I can do it. Not going to do it. But if you want to do a hands-on course, we have a virtual didactic that you have to do before coming in. And then our hands-on is a one-on-one course with me and one of our nurses who is a trainer as well for threads. And so that one's going to be $24.99, so about $2,500. It includes question and answers. We're going to record it, so you will actually get the recording of you actually doing your hands-on treatments. So you can keep reviewing it for the next couple of months afterwards. So very invaluable course if you do want to jump into doing threads. Hands-on is a definite
It's-
must because
Yeah.
it is, I find, probably harder to do and a higher learning curve than actually even fillers.
It is. It is. So having your hands on that and being able to use longer cannulas and knowing what plane you're in, and not being able to back out on some of these. So it's really important to get your hands on this. So, like Dr.
Important.
Kwok said, that's
November
really important.
21st.
Yeah. Perfect.
Alrighty. Now we get to introduce our special
special
guest. His name
Drum
is Daniel
roll.
Lee. He's been in the industry for a couple of years. He's actually the national sales manager for Mint Threads, and we're honored to have him here. He's going to talk a little bit about Mint Threads, threads in general, as far as the industry is concerned, and then hopefully keep pushing you guys to join the VI Must, which is their international virtual conference that they're going to be hosting this year. That's October 24th, so put it on your calendar. It's a Saturday, so you guys have no excuse to not
Yeah.
join us that day. And for them, they have offered as our sweepstakes or as our little, what do we call our contest that we always do. They're giving 2 lucky winners. So 2 lucky winners will receive 1 admission to the VI Must with all the early bird perks. And what are the early bird perks? Well, during COVID, Mint actually, for their Mint users, actually did a whole 10 series, or so 10 hours of webinars on their different threads and how to place cat eyes, noses. So there's a whole series of webinars that will be included if you win this, along with the VI Must, I guess, the admission for October 24th. So there are 2
Awesome.
winners that will win. All right.
So submit.
So what is the contest rules? You got to follow at the Aesthetic Immersion. You have to follow at Mint PDO and tag 3 providers on this AI giveaway post that should be posted, and comment what you're excited to see from this VI Must conference. What areas you want us to talk about, what areas you want us to show about. The winner will be announced October 17th. So this is not going to be announced next month. This is going to be announced October 17th. It starts today and ends October 16th. So you have about less than 2 weeks to do this contest. So good luck out there, and hopefully you win.
So we have our winner from our September 1st show, and that was, drum roll please,
Drum roll.
Natalie, at Nurse Natalie _Amara.
Congratulations.
So congratulations,
Natalie.
Natalie. You won 2 tickets to the aesthetic show, which is they've just changed it, so it's going to be virtual this year. But we are both speaking at it.
Oh, we are?
And we are. Guess what? We're speaking at it.
Oops.
So it's gonna be amazing. It's tough. Everybody's gone virtual, but I've heard
I know.
wonderful comments regarding a lot of these different conferences have gone virtual. It's a lot of work to do,
Yes.
but they bring you great information, and you can kind of choose what you want to jump in on from your
And
home.
I think
which
a lot
is
of them
really
are
nice.
recorded, so you can go back
Yeah.
and rewatch it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
which is awesome.
you'll be able to. I know when we go to conferences live, we're always trying to plan out where we're going, and we're like, "Damn, I missed that one."
Right?
Uh-huh.
So now you can pick where you want
Now
to
you
go.
can pick
I
and
love
go
it.
back and watch them.
awesome.
So
That's awesome.
congratulations, Natalie.
So that
Um,
value is $990, by the way.
I
So
know.
those tickets are worth $990. So
Awesome.
awesome.
We need to raise our VI Must prices.
Right? Your conference price is too
yeah,
cheap,
wait,
Daniel.
hold on, what's going on? 900, okay.
Like, whoa,
funny.
$49.99 is cheap. Right on.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty
Daniel Lee, thank you
Uh-huh.
so much
I
for
know,
joining
thank
us.
you
Yeah,
today.
thanks
so
for having
much.
me.
Thank you.
I
We
appreciate
really,
it.
really appreciate you taking time out to come.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a busy guy. I mean,
Very.
he's
He's
works
the
for
national sales manager.
Yes, so he works for the whole nation with all this stuff. So we kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit.
Sure, absolutely.
And first of all, kind of want to ask you, like, when did you? Oh, we want to know about you. When did you get started in this? How long have you been in aesthetics?
Yeah, of
at
course.
the Mint.
Uh-huh.
Just things like that. Kind of tell us your background.
Yeah, before I start, I just want to compliment both of your shoes.
My
I
shoes?
obviously
Nah.
didn't wear anything shiny.
I didn't wear
Yeah,
anything
baby.
bling
Right?
today.
So I
Sparkles,
didn't get the
yeah.
memo, but next time, right? But yeah, I mean, well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I've seen your other shows, and it's pretty awesome what you guys have been doing, especially during this whole quarantine time, bringing a lot of value to the marketplace, which I think really shows that you're going forward.
Thank you.
So, a little bit about myself. My name is Daniel Lee. I graduated from UC Berkeley. It's called Cal.
Cal Berkeley.
Cal
My
Berkeley.
brother went there. My mom went there.
There we go. Go Bears for those that went to Cal. So I graduated with a molecular biology degree, and just like probably 90% of Asian males pursuing medicine, right? I fit that typical mold. And after I graduated, I just wanted to make sure I was 120%. I want to get into medicine. And I mean, Doc, both of you guys know there's a lot of schooling. It's a lifetime commitment, right?
Yes.
So with that sentiment in mind, I wanted to try something different, just to see, dip my toes in the water. So I talked to my parents, and they actually run a martial arts school in Los Angeles. And I've done martial arts my entire life, and I've always taught, growing up, competed in college.
So I'm not gonna make you mad.
No,
He's a triple black belt. If there's higher, he probably is.
So yeah,
Man.
I helped run the school, and after a few years of growing exponentially, I realized I kind of have a knack for sales and marketing and business and entrepreneurship, and I think I really found my calling, and this is what I love to do. I just love business, right? So after working with them for a while, I did want to do something that incorporated my degree, and I ended up at Mint PDO. So it kind of brings my science background with sales and all that. And to answer your question, how long have you been here? I mean, to be quite frank with you, I've only been here for like around 2 years in the aesthetic industry. However, what I did bring with me was sales experience, which I think is translatable across every industry. Sales is a universal skill. And just disgusting work ethic, right? So that's what I brought, just rawness. To an industry I quite frankly had no idea about. So when I first started, I literally didn't know anything. I had no connections. Started from ground zero. PDO Threads was not really popping at the time. No one knew what it was. My average sales cycle on a phone call would be an hour and a half, just explaining what threads were.
Wow.
Now it's like 5-10 minutes, right? Now we're doing
knows
now we're doing pretty good.
Like it's easier now.
Yeah, and it's just been an incredible experience. So just to answer your question, 2 years time, but honestly, with the amount of time I put in, the networks I've been able to establish, I would say maybe like 3.5 years in terms of experience-wise, right?
Awesome.
And not to toot my own horn, but our company, Hans Biomed USA, we have an incredibly talented and hardworking team that helps back the sales team. And collectively, we've been able to successfully grow not only PDO Threads, but the Mint brand to what it is now. So that's a little bit about myself.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
It is
Thank
true.
you.
You've
I
come a
mean,
long way in a couple years.
Thank you. I appreciate
and the
that.
team is super important. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly think, I remember when back when I first got started, especially when the Dysport, Galderma, or Medicis and Allergan.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my Allergan rep that I had was not really nice, and so when Dysport came out, I literally switched myself over. It was an easy move. And so, what you talk about the salespeople, as much as people don't pay attention, I think it really is important because they are the ones that help guide your business. One of our reps in Galderma from Medicis was the one that really helped us guide us into, I guess, how the companies do spend time, effort, money to help you build your business. But I think a lot of people don't realize that. They look at salespeople as a little annoying sometimes. But I think if you sit down and really, really do discuss your plan and what you're trying to achieve for your own business, they can help tailor you because they get a nice little interspersing when they go out to different clinics and you can kind of give them tidbits on how to run it a little bit better, run it a little bit smoother that they may not have thought of. So you guys out there that are running your own business, don't shoo all of your salespeople. Yes, sometimes they do get annoying, but realize that salespeople actually when they are good, really are there to help you build your business. And I think it's important
and you know
to realize that.
To kind of back onto that is not all salespeople are made the same, and not all companies are made the same. And I think a lot of that support comes from the top down.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if that company, if that culture doesn't have if that company doesn't have a culture of supporting their customers, then
Correct.
sometimes the salespeople aren't as supportive, and
Yeah,
they might
absolutely.
want to come and just sell you something,
Right.
but they're not there to help you grow your business, which on the back end is going to help them. So
Right.
it's that
Short-sightedness.
like so Simon
of
Sinek says
something.
it's like infinite mindset.
Exactly.
It's that
I
you
love
need
the
to know
guy.
it's going to come back on the back end. You read all his books. Me too.
I've got all of his signatures.
Simon Sinek, Gillum. But it's that have that infinite mindset that it's going to come back to you, and you know what's going to happen in the future.
Absolutely.
So
Agreed.
those have been like our rep that we're talking about with Galderma changed our practice, and
Yeah,
we still
for
are
sure.
dedicated to a company that is dedicated to
Wow.
our company,
Yep.
to
Yeah.
growing our company as a whole.
It's awesome.
Sure.
And having that support. And Mint is one of those that we've seen
Yep.
give us a lot of support and just be positive. And what do you need? How can we help you as a company?
Right,
And
right.
that means
For
a lot
sure.
to providers. I mean, just so you guys know out there, it's, it means a lot to you as a small business
Right.
that you need that support sometimes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% agree.
So, tell us about Mint, because
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody knows what even Mint means. It's like a
Right.
unique name.
That it
Like,
is.
Why is it called Mint?
I'm going to give credit to our department in Korea. Their marketing team's very good. They come up with very fancy acronyms. So MINT is actually an acronym in itself. It's minimally invasive non-surgical thread. So in essence, that's actually kind of cute. Not a lot of people know it. They just think it's mint, right?
Cute.
Yeah. So it's a cool, trendy name, and
Right.
in terms of marketing and branding, it makes it very easy for us.
Right.
But in terms of Mint, so it originally started, but in 2014,
Okay.
by Hans Biomed Corporation, right, which is our headquarters based in South Korea. Okay, so and Hans Biomed has been around since '93. It's
Okay.
just the Mint brand was in 2014 when they really started launching, and we actually manufacture it. So around 2014 is actually when it really started in Korea.
Nice.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's about the time that Threads really started to thrive in Asia, because I've been
Right.
hearing about Threads and from my Asian patients for a long time,
Yeah.
and so. Korea is definitely, if you're looking for on trend from
Mhm.
Asia, where to go, everyone goes to Korea
Yeah,
for
yeah.
surgeries and everything.
Yeah.
Ultimate of everything.
The ultimate of everything.
I
Even
know.
pop culture
5,000
now.
threads.
I know, right? I mean, wow, I did not expect this growing up,
Right.
But hey, it is what it is.
So are the threads FDA cleared? Kind of speak to that, because not all of them are.
Yes. So, this is a great question, and I feel like the audience needs to know all of this, right? They're
Right.
entitled to, because they are working with patients and they want to make sure that you're safe. And the companies do invest a lot of money and time for the clearance to be active, so that us as a sales team or us as a company can safely sell the product without
Right.
any repercussions, right? So I'm just going to bust out from the website itself, because I don't want to butcher anything. It's kind of sensitive information, so I just
Right.
want to say it
Anything
verbatim.
is
Okay.
always.
Especially on camera, right? So, I'm just going to pull it up. So, in 2013, Mint received FDA clearance for use in soft tissue approximation,
Okay.
where the use of absorbable sutures is appropriate. And the 510K number is K130191. Yeah, I'm just going to say it all. Right?
Okay.
In 2020, Mint received FDA clearance for a new indication. So this is
Oh.
new. Yeah. For use in mid-face suspension surgery to temporarily fixate the cheek subdermis in an elevated position for the purpose of nasolabial fold depth reduction.
Oh.
510K number K192423.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
okay.
actually pretty new.
Did not know that.
That's very
Yeah.
new.
Awesome.
And 2013 and 2020, that's what, 7 years.
Right.
And that just shows that the company is constantly evolving, and they're always trying to bring forth more value to the marketplace. And there's a lot of
Beautiful.
money being invested back into the brand so that providers can feel safe, and there's more clinical trials, and safety is a big issue for us. So
Awesome.
I just wanted
Yeah,
to-
I know that
yeah.
and that's what everyone in the filler industry and the toxin industry always looks for, the white papers and where is the safeties and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I know you guys are now, as we are establishing, Mint's establishing something in the U.S., is they're starting to do a lot more clinical research, and
Right.
you should see those white papers be coming out in the next year or 2 years with
Oh,
regards to
absolutely.
those. But there's a lot of
Absolutely.
safety data from Korea because they've been using it
Exactly.
forever.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll go over this more about what makes us different. But we do have clinical papers and everything for anyone that's interested. They can always reach out, and we'll gladly give it to them so they can check it out as well.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
as far as Hans Biomed itself, it's a big corporation, right? They
Mhm,
don't just
mhm.
do threads. They're
Right.
all over
Yeah.
with different things.
Like all types of stuff. Honestly, in America, we have our biologics department that sell like human cell tissue and all that. And then in Korea, we have our breast implants called Belagel. It's it's a different market. Of course,
Right.
in America, there's the FDA and all different types of clearances. But Hans Biomed itself is a global brand, so we have international branches all over the world, and each branch kind of has clearance as to what products they can sell
Right.
because it's based on the jurisdiction of their country, right?
Right, right,
And every
right.
country has different laws and all this regulation. So we kind of play within the confines of that, and whatever we can sell within the confines of that, we're able to sell to our customers.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so how many countries is Mint Threads in?
So Mint Threads is in, proudly in the U.S., right? Obviously
Right.
in Korea. To our South American friends, we have Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil. We have in the UK, I'm just naming off the top of my head, China, Russia, Indonesia, Thailand.
Oh,
And I think I'm missing a couple, but it's a pretty global
Wow.
brand.
pretty global.
Yeah.
South Africa, actually.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's more prevalent than I thought initially.
You're
Yeah.
a better job than you thought.
Yeah, I guess we're doing okay. Yeah, and of course, every branch has their own way of doing things. But in the U.S. is what I know the most, obviously.
Right.
Right.
But in Korea, they have their own ways. In the U.S., they have their own ways. Every branch has their own
Right.
things going on, different pricing and all that.
So how many threads does Mint have? How many different types of threads do you have?
That's a good question. So in Korea, I'm just going to base a lot of our answers from Korea because I think it's a good perspective as to what the American market will be able to eventually foresee. Okay, just like you said, the trends kind of come in after a while,
Right.
but they always tend to repeat itself here. So in Korea, there are 11 types of different threads.
Okay.
And this is including barb and smooth.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I'm going to assume the audience kind of knows a little bit about threads, right? If they don't know, go to VI Must. So, yep. And then
Sign up for the conference if you don't know.
there we go. We're going to be plugging that in a lot. So we have the barb threads and the smooth threads in Korea. There's 11 different types. Okay. And then in America, we have a variety of different sutures as well. I think the best way to do is just go on our website and see what we have.
Right.
But in America, the most popular one that we've noticed is the Mint Fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the
We
Mint
love
Fine.
it. We
Everyone
love it.
loves
My
the
favorite
Fine.
one.
They go everywhere.
They go everywhere.
They work
and
everywhere.
yeah, exactly. They're so utility, and I just like the name Mint Fine. How cool is that, right? But
It's fine.
yeah, it's fine. But don't let the name fool you.
It's not that
it's
fun.
thick.
It's
No,
fine.
it's
Yeah,
very
yeah, there we
thick.
go, right? So, I mean, in that regard, the Mint Fine is really popular. But we did bring new ones. I mean, as we did
Yes.
with our webinars with Aesthetic
Yes.
Immersion, which was awesome during COVID, by the way. And we have the Fix Mini Up and Tip. So what that means, Hans Biomed, we are actually the manufacturer ourselves. So R&D, manufacturing. I mean, there's people just thinking about threads 24/7. How do we make it better, et cetera, et cetera. So working for a company that I know is always forward in advancing technology is really satisfying for a rep because we
Yeah.
always know that there's something new coming to bring to the marketplace and bring more value to you guys.
And it's important that people understand that you guys do produce your own threads
Right.
because
Yeah, it's really important.
out there in the marketplace
Yeah.
with different companies, everyone hears all these different company names. Do you use this? Do you use this?
Yep.
People don't actually realize that there are only a few companies that actually make their own threads.
Right,
A lot
correct.
of them are actually more middlemen.
Correct.
And what you have is an issue with actual longevity and
Right.
thread robustness because once
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
open it up, repackage it, and stuff like that,
You got it.
you lose integrity of your thread, and people don't realize that. I think that they
Yeah.
group all threads together and like, oh, threads don't work because that company's threads broke on me. They didn't last very long and stuff like that. But there is a difference, right?
Absolutely. I mean, just like, I mean, in the aesthetic world, like toxins and fillers, there's a difference.
Right.
PDO threads, there's a difference. Lasers, there's a difference, right? Everything has its difference. It's I believe that, you know, it's a company's job to market it effectively and educate the public, but it's also a clinic's job to have their due diligence, do their research as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I think it works both ways, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of
Absolutely.
the like Dr. Kwok was mentioning, there might be one company that makes threads in Korea, and that other companies buy them and then just repackage them
Yeah, it's
and sell
common.
them under their name.
That's very common.
So, and that's where you don't know the integrity of those threads, or if they've been exposed to heat or oxygen.
Yep.
And they can crumble,
Exactly.
when you put them in. So
Yeah.
it's really important when you choose threads to pick a company that makes their own. They're packaged, they're double packaged and sealed, and you can count on those having the integrity that you need, so they are not going to break apart easily when you put them in.
Yeah.
Right. You know, actually ours is triple packaged.
I know yours is. I was gonna say
Yeah,
yours
but,
is
It is
triple
triple
packaged.
packaged.
but I mean,
It
the
is.
point is the same, right?
Yeah.
It's there's that extra level of protection,
Right.
to battle the elements and all
Right.
that. It's like the whole farm to table kind of philosophy. We make it straight from the site and we sell it straight to the consumer.
It's important because I mean, when I first got started and I was playing with all these different threads, and you would get ones that you try and
Oh yeah.
lift. Like nowadays, I do some tying off,
Mm-hmm.
and certain ones, when you try to tie it off, they start to break or
Right.
disintegrate, and you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, that okay. Well, that didn't do
Yikes.
as well. Next, give me another thread and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I honestly think it is very important. People don't realize that all different thread manufacturers or distributors have different threads, and
Absolutely.
they're all made differently. I think you guys do. People don't realize that you guys make all molded threads
Correct.
versus cut threads that are out there, and there is a difference with regards to that, and you guys could go research that on your own. But I
right.
think as you get more into it, as I've gotten definitely down into threads a lot more, you realize, you know, maybe when you're in beginning stages, cut threads are easier to use because if you make a little mistake, it's easier
It's more
to
forgiving.
undo it. It's very forgiving. But as you get actually decent with your threads, you want ones that are much more robust, that
Right.
will do the lifting, that will get you those longevity issues with
Right.
regards to your threads. I
Got it.
mean, and I think that people don't realize that there is so much difference. And definitely learning it properly is very important. I think in the US, because it is brand new, you get a lot of pushback on threads from different people. Not to call it plastic surgeons, but I think a lot of plastic surgeons in the US are, some of them are on it, and some of them are definitely very against it and poo-pooing it. But
Fine.
what do you guys hear? Because I mean, ultimately, Korea is the ultimate plastic surgery
Correct.
capital of the world, in a sense.
Yeah.
But plastic surgeons in Korea use it constantly and use
All
it
the time.
hand in hand. And
All the time,
Right?
And you know, just to be fair on the plastic surgery community and other communities, you know, I maybe they're a little bit more on the laggard end of adopting new technology, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I mean, from a business perspective, you always have the early adopters, the early innovators, and then the laggards, and we just categorize them as laggards, but eventually they will eventually buy, so it doesn't really matter, right? But I mean, but honestly, that actually fuels us and me personally to work harder to earn their business, right? Like, so then we can have this conversation. Okay, like, why don't you believe it? What do you need for me to show the safety and efficacy of it? What exactly is the real issue you don't believe in it?
what do you hear from plastic surgeons in the U.S.?
I
what is the
honestly-
biggest?
Yeah. So my
Hurdle.
biggest thing is that I think if you have an open mind and you look at other procedures from different countries, you are able to maybe take it in better, adopt it better, because you see other countries that, oh, that actually works, and
Right.
my colleagues are saying it's safe.
Right.
And then the other way I would say to the biggest, I think, deterrent that I noticed in the beginning of my career with Mint was the non-absorbable sutures that were in the market prior.
Right.
Right.
And they just cause so much headache.
Right.
And I
Makes
think even
sense.
in like plastic surgery, I spoke with my medical director about this too. And sometimes even in their curriculum, they just show like, hey, there was this product, this case study, and all these negative things happen. So
Right.
by training, they're already kind of predisposed to, oh, thread's bad, right?
Right.
Which is fair because
Right,
that's
right,
probably what they learned. And that's okay. And that is our job as a company to clearly communicate, okay, then if that is what you perceive it as, what can we do to take away that sentiment, right? So honestly, from a business perspective, I think it's actually a good challenge so that you can almost earn their business in a way. So that's how I feel about it.
Cool.
Of course, it's much, of course, we would love them to be like, "Yeah, of course, I'll take it in. But, if that is what it takes, then I think if we really earn their business, they'll have that much more of a stronger relationship with us. So just thinking infinite mindset,
Right.
just like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So, what do you find, like worldwide? What are you seeing are the different trends? Like,
Yeah,
what are you seeing are
sure.
the popular threads to use or the treatments
Mhm.
to do in U.S. versus other countries?
So, I'm going to be, in Korea, they are way more experimental.
Right.
And the things they
Yes.
do, I'm just like, whoa.
go.
Like,
Oh,
that
boy.
would not
I
fly.
would fall
Go.
apart. You'd
Yeah,
love it.
I would
seriously,
love it.
you
I
guys
would
just
be
need to
like,
go and just be
"Oh."
like, what the heck is going on here?
That's what I would be doing.
Because in America, I feel like everyone is just like operating in fear. And it's kind of
Yes.
sad to see. And I'm just like, man, that sucks.
Lord,
And
yes.
I am a newbie in the industry, but I think coming from an unbiased perspective, I get to see a little bit of everything, right? Just from the company side, from the patient side, from the consumer side, the providers. And I'm on Instagram a lot, and the best way to know is by looking at your community. And I read a lot of the comments from patients. I remember in the beginning of our career, our Instagram page was pretty small, like less than 1,000 followers. And the comments would be like, oh my God, what is that? That looks so scary. And now I think we're hovering around over 6,000. So we've grown a lot.
Right.
And the comments now are like, oh my God, I want that. So the
Right.
market sentiment has drastically shifted. right?
Definitely, for
you know
sure.
what's different is people are coming in now and asking for it.
Exactly.
Because they're realizing that my friend had it done and she looks great. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to understand it's not a facelift,
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not-
but it is a definite perk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a definite perk
Oh, yeah,
up.
for sure.
And they see that their friend did it, so they come in. They're like, I was thinking about maybe this thread lift thing. So people are becoming much more aware of this on social media, which is
Right.
really,
Yep. Social
really
media's-
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. The when you watch it, for sure, it is definitely not the prettiest picture.
Nope.
It's a little barbaric
It
in
is.
a sense.
Uh-huh.
But when patients actually come in and finally get it done, and you numb them up, and I tell them that that's the part that hurts the most,
It is. Right.
they really go,
Yeah.
"Wow, that was actually way easier than I
That's
thought."
how
I
we
was so
all
much
are.
more nervous about it,
Right.
and because you actually finally numb them up, and that hurts the most.
Yeah.
They're like, "Wow, that was actually almost too
We
easy."
said
Exact-
people almost fall
uh-huh.
asleep.
Yeah.
Because you're pushing on their face. It's almost like a massage. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Wake up."
We've seen it all. We've seen some people fall asleep.
Yeah.
We've seen some people cry after a procedure.
Yeah.
there some
Those are
happy?
sure.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are always the best.
Those are the
Those
wish-
are always.
We wish we had the camera on,
Right.
but we just kind of tend to enjoy the moment. But just to answer, Laura, your question about what trends are
Yeah.
popular. So in Korea, again, the whole country knows about threads. Young
Mhm.
people, old people, they all know about this, right? So younger patients actually want that tight look.
V.
Yeah, that V heart. And like in America, we call it snatched, right? It's really trendy these days. Sure, why not? So they want to look snatched, like
Right.
super snatched, right? And then the older patient demographic wants to look, they don't want to look snatched, but they do want to look age appropriate. Like they want to look the best 50s that they can be,
Right.
right? If that makes sense.
Yes.
And in terms of just the younger demographic, because the country is so open about cosmetic procedures and knows about threads, even if they have like mild dimpling or even if they have some kind of, if they look like different after threads, everyone already knows that that's the procedure, and they actually want it to be more lifted like this. They're like, don't release anything. Don't release.
More
We want it.
Goodness.
And it's nice that we all wear masks now, so they can hide it more, right? So, and on the top of a mask, another thing that's we've noticed in Korea that's really trendy is these things called skin boosters. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
going to go too much into skin boosters because this is more of a thread talk, but we've been noticing a lot of clinics in Korea using Mint with our skin booster from our different line, one of our company newer products, and they do it in conjunction with another. It's like cross-linked HA. It's all this other stuff. We can go about it later, but they do it in conjunction, especially when everyone has masks on, for like the acne and the inflammation. So we've noticed that's a really nice 1-2 combo
Wow.
in Korea right now. And I suspect maybe the American market will adopt it soon. I don't think the American market really knows about skin boosters too much, but
No.
maybe eventually we can trailblaze that too. I mean, we've already done it with Mint. I mean,
Right?
that's way, I think, a lot more simple in my opinion. So, yeah,
It probably is.
I think so too. Yeah, but that's the.
So what do you suggest for people who want to get into threads? All those people
Mhm.
out there that are like, okay, I see you guys talking about it. I've been watching things.
Yeah.
What is your recommendation as far as getting into threads? How
Mhm.
do they start?
Yeah, how do they, yeah, it's a good question. How do I start, right?
Right?
So I always recommend, first of all, going to our website, right? Going to our website, studying the company, seeing if this company is something that you want to pursue. And then we have a page where you can contact us, and then our internal team will give you to your appropriate sales rep. And then what we always recommend, just like you said in your class, is hands-on training. Right? Whatever hands-on training you can do, whatever entity that teaches the Mint threads, get on it, because there's no way you're gonna learn threads through a video, right?
No.
That tactile feel of the threads, coupled by immediate supervision, is something that you cannot replicate,
Right.
Right.
So that is where the true value lies in training, that hands-on feel. And I always tell people, just because you did one hands-on doesn't mean you're proficient. Like, come on, right? That's like, exactly. And
No.
I always tell people, hey, think of PDO threads as other modalities. It's the same thing. You don't just do one like filler training and I'm an expert. No way.
Well, some people think they are.
Yeah, and I've noticed that too. And then when we recommend more training, they're like, I already did training,
Yeah.
and we always say, then why are you reaching out to us, right? So it's kind of funny, but again, I just think it's because it's so new, people just don't understand it, and that's fine. That's our
is.
job. Our job is to communicate to the audience and our customers, like, hey, this is what you need. Might not want to hear that, but this is the best for your clinic. So yeah, getting involved with training, I would say, is the number one thing you have to do. when you
And
first start.
to do those trainings,
Mhm.
I would suggest that a provider already be working with cannulas.
Mhm. Okay.
And you're going to work with needles a few years before you start working with cannulas.
Mhm.
And then once you are proficient at kind of cannula use, then go on to threads,
Mhm.
because it's a whole
I
different
agree.
ball game working
Yeah.
with this long of a cannula rather than this long of a cannula or this
Right.
long of a needle.
Right.
Threads
So-
are definitely not one that I would recommend a new person jumping into the
No.
aesthetic field
Mhm.
should jump into. I
Yeah.
don't know what your experience
No.
when you've seen people who have like, I just got into aesthetics and I'm gonna take your class, and they've taken it and you're just like, ooh, what do you
Ruh-roh.
see and what do you recommend?
You want the truth?
Yes, of course. That's what I'm here for.
Unfiltered?
Unfiltered.
All right, if
No
you're ready for
cussing.
this. No. Well, here's the thing. I think the reason, one thing for me, when I first started, I was just so oblivious to everything. I just didn't know the industry. So I just assumed everyone can just do threads.
Yeah.
Right.
I just thought, if you're in aesthetics, you can just do threads. And I think just being blinded and just being naive,
right.
initially.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. I would just be gung ho about selling, and I have a. If I'm gonna say I'm good at one thing, I have a good ability to sell. So I would convince them, et cetera, et cetera. And then slowly I realized, wait a minute. There's definitely a transition period where I think they should do other things first,
Right.
and then threads. So again, I was learning too.
Uh-huh.
So then eventually, once I kind of got settled into the field and I learned a little bit more about aesthetics, I went to conventions. I tried to learn everything about the industry. Is then when I realized, are you new? If you may probably not want to do this right now. Yeah, and we would just offer. We would literally just tell them and decline some of the business, and which is fine, because at the end of the day, then they know that hey, they're actually looking out for me. They're not just trying to make a quick buck from us.
Right.
So but we always say, hey, go do some other trainings, get some experience first,
Right.
and then once you're ready, come back to us, and then
For sure.
we'll start that conversation.
For
again.
sure, yeah, and I think for you guys out there,
Mhm.
I think you can delineate. To me, I delineate for all of you guys is foundation versus the smooth or volumizing threads.
Yeah.
I think if you're newbie and you're really wanting to get your hands on threads, I think the smooth threads are completely fine
Yeah.
and easy to do.
Not
It's
gonna
like
hurt anybody.
you're really not
Yeah.
going to hurt anybody, but it's a good way of getting tissue depths and finding out where you are and the levels.
Yeah.
As you get proficient with your injectables and understanding what levels you're at and with cannulas and stuff like that, then I think you can venture and start delving into your foundations, those really big lifting threads.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
a lot.
once you stick it in, you're kind of committed. You're
Yeah.
not like, oh wait, let's
You're going forward. You're not backing up.
let's make a mistake and I can back up and do
Right.
that. And you're committed once you
Yeah.
stick these threads in there.
Yeah.
Because they hold really well.
Yes, they hold too well. Yeah, they do.
So, what kind of trainings does Mint offer? Like, how when you have a provider who's gone about what
ready
we've
to
said,
do this.
who's
Yeah.
ready. Tell me how you deal with them or what you offer them.
So one good way to kind of know where you are, and because every clinic has different needs. Some people want to just have one person train and have them be the sole thread provider. Some people want to scale and have many providers. Every clinic has a different need and a want, right?
Right.
So again, that's why our trainings aren't just cookie cutter. We have various training programs, private training, semi-private, CME, different partnerships like with AI, to have a wide variety of things that people can do, right? So if you look on our website, if you go to the trainings tab, there's a flow chart that has, you are here, what do you want? And you can kind of navigate where you want to go.
Oh.
And then sometimes if you get lost, that's okay. And then what I recommend is then go contact us through our website, get the appropriate rep, and just have that discovery call. Because the reps are trained to go through every situation with you and to really offer you the best training or package that you need. Some people might want private training, just their whole staff. Some people don't mind going somewhere else. Everyone has a different threshold of what they want or can't do. So we really recommend that discovery call to see what works best for you.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you have different KOLs around the country that
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Correct.
are very adept and used to using threads and Mint threads, per
Right.
se.
We have a pretty extensive amount of KOLs and trainers and people that have just and honestly, you guys are basically like the new people like trailblazing the industry, because the Mint brand is still relatively new.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
And I feel like just as Mint is I'm not looking at, because I'm the national manager, so I get to see a lot of different things, and I also work with international brands, so I like to ask them a lot of tough questions, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is in America, the procedure is very profitable, very good. So
It definitely is.
and again, it's just economics, like supply and demand,
Right.
right? The demand is high, the supply is low, the amount of people that can do it. And then the supply is even lower for the people that can do it well. So because there's this arbitrage, you're able to charge a good amount of, profit, whatever. But I foresee in a couple years, when everyone starts getting into it, the market saturation goes up, pricing, then you guys start the market tends to nickel and dime each other with some of the other procedures, and that's natural.
Right.
So I always tell people, get in now, build that client base. They're gonna come and become recurring patients. Why lose them? Get in now. This is the best time to get in.
True. And
Yeah.
it takes a while. I mean, I've
does,
been
it
playing with
does.
threads for probably 4 years, right, Lori? I don't know.
Yeah, before me, 'cause I waited.
Oh yeah, way before
Yeah.
her. I'm the
I always wait.
trailblazer. I'm the one like, let's try everything.
I'm a cowboy.
Yeah, it
I'm not a cowboy.
It's taken
Yeah.
a while, and it's still, even to this day, I'm still refining my technique and
Yeah.
still learning and still
Yeah.
playing. And so, it takes a while. This is not something you ask a rep for a filler and you play around with it and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
If
different.
they gave you free product to use, you wouldn't know what to do with it, honestly.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know a lot of people ask for free products,
Yeah.
like we do in filler world and
Uh-huh.
toxin world, but honestly, if you've never done it, you should not be getting free product because you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Exactly, and that's a good. I mean, I want to piggyback off that point a little bit because so when I first started, I was so naive and I didn't know anything about the industry. And a lot of people would be like, "Hey, give me a free sample, come teach me how to do it." And I was like, "Wait a minute, teach you?" Like that sounds really bizarre. So even from a complete newbie, it didn't make any sense to me. So what I want to tell the providers is, hey, the reps, we're not medical providers. We know I don't know everything about the thread, but to actually play something is out of my pay grade, right? And quite frankly, it's just a safety precaution.
Yeah.
So what we have done is we built a system in America where we let the medical providers do their job, what they're good at, which is train, have the ability to show someone. And the rep's job is just to almost be like a broker in a way to show what the best option for you in terms of training will be in terms of distance, price, and all that.
Right.
That's a rep's job.
Right.
And so I think a lot of providers, if I have one ask for the audience is any thread company, don't tell them, hey, come and train me, because quite frankly, that's just unrealistic and unsafe. You want to have the medical provider, KOL or trainer do that. We just kind of facilitate that training
Right.
and then help you with the follow-up with whatever you need.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
So
I wanted to kind of piggyback on that. We're
Yeah.
just piggybacking all over the place.
Yeah.
that it's so important that you give yourself time to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself. Give yourself time to learn. This is a time on tissue product. The
Absolutely.
technique takes a long time to use, and like
It
Dr. Clark was
is.
saying, it's different with every patient, and we learn on every patient.
Mhm.
We do this with fillers and neuromodulators, and every patient's anatomy is different. So we need to
Absolutely.
kind of be patient with ourselves
Yeah.
and just know we are, it's the practice of medicine.
Yeah.
It really
It
is.
is.
And we are, every time we do this, we're learning something and getting better and better and better. So
Yep.
give yourself time to learn and be
Yeah.
patient with yourself.
Mhm.
But it's really fun to do.
It really is.
And it's-
the
it's-
results are
It
instantaneous.
is. And the patients look at themselves and you see that like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's,
And
and,
it's-
you tell them, don't smile, don't smile.
Yeah.
And they're trying to smile and you're like, don't smile.
Mhm.
It is.
But it's really cool.
It's so different, like, than fillers. Like, we've gotten to that trend where people fill to try and lift. And this has helped us to back off on overfilling people, because
Right.
now you can actually lift that heavier tissue back over the areas that actually have the prominences already. So
Right.
threads is a whole different world,
Yeah.
actually, of aesthetic medicine that, combined with your filler and toxins, blends in so beautifully and so perfectly. And that's why I'm a big believer in that this is the next trend in the US, and it's not
Absolutely.
one that you should be just doing alone. It's something that needs to be combined with the fillers and with the toxins that really enhance and really change the whole thing. It's kind of like facelifts, honestly, when I talk about it.
It's like adding support hose to
It's-
filler.
It can be,
It
yeah.
is. It's like support
It literally
hose.
is.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're getting that support back in there that used to be there, and then you don't need to put as much filler in.
Right, for sure.
Thread support hose. There you go.
Yeah, it's a cool product.
Alrighty, so
love
we're
it.
coming close to the end, but we have to do a plug for VIMA. So tell us
Yeah.
all about it and why you guys created it and what
Sure.
it's going to be all about this year.
Yeah, so just historically, we've always had a big event for Mint once or twice a year. Historically, usually in LA or New York. It's an easy sell. It's very sexy, right? LA, New York.
Yeah.
Right.
But obviously due to COVID and all that, we partnered with AI to do it virtually, right? So, the name of it was called You Must. So it's called US Mint user specific training.
Uh-huh.
Now it's called VI Must because, well, obviously V is virtual.
Virtual.
Now we're going international because that's the beauty of virtual conferences.
Right.
You can scale your operations, right? So from a
Right.
business perspective, I like it. So we can go international now,
Uh-huh.
right? Mint user specific training. So
Okay.
that's why we coined that term VI Must. So then, okay, that's great, Daniel. So what is VI Must, right? So the original plan of VI Must was to take in all the feedback and questions we've had accumulated over the years, reverse engineer it, and then make an event to answer almost everything, right? So we're putting the customer first, right? So for example, we are going to cover an entire gamut, ranging from safety and efficacy, vector design, barb design. What are the different Mint portfolios out there? Why are they doing it in this manner, right? It's a great way for us to learn, right? Just like you said. And then from a business perspective, threads to bring a profitable procedure in your individual practice, right? Then, so how are we going to do it? So we are bringing our medical director, who's going to do a cadaver.
Yeah,
right,
so
dissection.
excited for that.
That's going to
We
be
s-
awesome.
Exactly. And that was a great, and that's recommendation from AI. So see, we're listening to the customer, and we're basically bringing what you guys want to see on a virtual landscape, right?
Anything cadaver will come.
Yes. I mean, and I'm excited too. Like, how
Right.
awesome is that, right?
I know.
It's great.
And then we're gonna go into the actual live demonstrations. Everyone wants to see it live.
Right.
And then we'll go into lectures on the business side as well, how to incorporate this technology as an additional source of revenue. So your practice managers, your office managers, your practice owners, it's gonna encompass that entire audience.
Beautiful.
So that's kind of what we are planning to do with VI Must, and that's kind of the scope of everything. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm so excited
I know.
for that
I'm
day.
excited.
I'm excited
to
too.
I'm
Yes.
so excited. And it's going to
Yeah.
be so much information
Mm-hmm.
that the viewers are going to be able to get
Yeah.
Yep.
for $99.
Yeah, it's a steal.
And if you sign up now, whatever it is, it's
49.
Yeah.
which is crazy.
I mean, it's
It's
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
So
Next
get
year,
your glass of
500.
wine and
Next
sit
year,
all day
500,
long.
right?
Next year, $4.99.
It's crazy.
Too cheap.
It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Next,
I mean,
next year's going to be more expensive.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. You know, of course, as the business expands, you know, later on we'll talk numbers like that. But the whole point again was to get as many people involved because a lot of people have questions with
Yeah.
PDO, and we didn't want the price to become a deterrent.
Right.
We almost wanted to make this almost foolproof to the point where if you don't sign up, you were just lazy.
Yeah.
Right? So we want to make it so comfortable for everyone to sign up.
Right.
And I think we're also doing a recording. So even
Yeah.
if you can't make it that day, you can watch it the next day.
Yep.
So trying to eliminate every excuse for anyone not to sign up, right?
No, it's
Granted
true.
that you are interested in PDO, of course,
Right.
right?
I mean, that's the
Yeah,
thing. is You
yeah.
have to be interested
Exactly.
in PDO.
We're not going to give it to
but-
someone who doesn't want to do it, but if you are interested, it also takes a considered effort for them to make that decision too.
No.
And we're
Yeah.
getting close to close to 1,000 people signing up
Yeah.
for this already. So
Crazy.
there are people all over the world that
World.
are signing up for this, which is really kind of cool.
Right.
And one thing I wanted to mention about Mint
Mhm.
was that Mint has just exploded in the last couple years here in
Wow.
the U.S.
Thank you.
And you can't explode as a company if you don't have a good product.
Right.
And if you don't have a good value system behind your company,
Mhm.
it's not going to work.
Absolutely.
So you have a good company value.
Mhm.
You guys want to help the customer.
Mhm.
The product is good
Mhm.
because we know that you guys make it
Mhm.
and we can trust the product and the integrity of the product.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you provide training that we can have that will help us provide it safely and know
Right.
how to use this product in
Right.
the best manner possible. So we really
Yeah.
enjoy you as a company. Just to let you know, we really
Thank
enjoy
you.
you as a company
Mhm.
because that is you wouldn't explode in the United States as you have, because I think
Mhm.
almost everybody who does threads knows Mint.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen a couple years ago,
No,
but you've
no
got a
way.
good product and you've got a good company.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
we
Appreciate it.
know the
Yeah.
why. We know why
Yeah.
you're there. You are there to help us as a customer
Yep.
and to help people do a good job with your product. And
No,
thank
it's
you
true.
for that.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you go to
You're
the
welcome,
trainings,
of
you
course.
definitely see it. The
Yeah,
trainings are
and-
very
Yeah.
individualized. There's no
Yeah.
more than 3 to 4 people for
Right.
that half day.
Mhm.
You really
Yeah.
get to get hands on and really, really learn it, which I appreciate because this
Mhm.
is a scarier thing than even fillers, because at
Yeah.
least fillers you can say, oh, if I inject it wrong, there's hyaluronidase, I can dissolve it and
You're
stuff
right.
like
Yeah.
that. This one, once you stick it in there, there's no going back. Like you
Right.
literally are committed, and you need to figure out where your planes are, and I think you have to do a hands-on, and it's
Yeah.
not one. You have to do multiple hands-on to get
Absolutely.
very,
Yeah.
very comfortable. And so I love the fact of the way you guys have created that training program. I
Thank
think
you.
that's one of the things that attracted me to Mint in the beginning, because it
Yeah.
was about that.
And
training.
I just want to shout out like our company in general, like in Hans USA, the USA branch that I work for. We have a amazing team. A lot of team members you'll never see because they don't like the camera like I do. I don't know. But
You look good on camera.
thank you. So do you. So for a lot of the other members, they're kind of behind the scenes, but they're actually the real movers and shakers. The
Right.
reps are just like the faces that kind of get that first initial exposure, but the whole workflow is predicated not just person selling, but everything that happens
Right.
after.
It's a
Right.
team.
It's a team effort,
It
and
definitely is.
we have really awesome people that work tirelessly, like Monday to Sunday. I don't think our reps have taken a break since I became a manager. So I'm sorry. But hey, but when we screen reps and we hire new people, that's the first thing I ask them. Hey, are you okay working on the weekend? If the answer is no, then I'm sorry, that's not the right company for you.
Yeah.
If it is
Hey.
yes, then we can talk.
That's
Then
about
why
work
don't-
ethic. That's
Exactly.
important these days.
And if you want to, again, like a complete newbie like me who has no experience in the industry, quite frankly, and with a product that nobody knew about, I mean, it's just
you
literally
guys have done
grit.
a beautiful job.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so I
Right.
just want to, not just toot my horn, but everyone that has supported me to make this a reality, bring it to
awesome.
fruition. And obviously,
awesome.
nice partners like you guys as well that I always ask you guys for consult, and I think that's the beauty of being so naive is you get to learn from a lot of people.
Right.
So I thank you as well. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we
Thank
believe
you.
that learning never stops.
No,
I
never,
agree.
definitely
you.
never
Yeah,
stops.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
being
you
here.
for being here.
no problem. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Our time's up. It
I
went
know.
by like that.
Already? We're done? Oh,
we
man,
could
that's fast.
we could
This
talk a
was
lot
so
more
fun.
about
Yeah.
threads.
I thought we were just getting started.
Oh my goodness. But thank you so
But
much. Thank you so much for being here.
you.
We really appreciate it. And we
So,
wanted to remind you that
our
our
contest
next
is still
Yeah.
out there.
Yes, it
so do our thing. Was it at Aesthetic Immersion, at Mint PDO,
Whatever
tag your
was
3
that.
friends.
Yep.
So you can get potentially win a free virtual conference to the VI Must, because that was very important. Plus, you get the little 10 free webinars that they produced
Yeah.
during COVID that actually were very, very interesting,
Yeah.
I would have to say.
And just,
Right?
just one more shameless plug is that we'll have on-site specials too.
Oh, on-site
So
specials.
that's why it's great for
Awesome.
new people that want to get started. We'll have packages for you, low investment, just
Right.
to try.
Oh,
And then we'll
nice.
have people like you guys who are a big customer
Right.
that might want to commit to a bigger
Get
package.
more.
Oh.
FYI. So and that's the beauty of it.
Right.
And we'll have that as
Yeah.
well. So it'll be really fun. And we have
Good.
other special. I don't want to give too much away, but it's gonna be a great event.
But make
Awesome.
sure
Yeah.
that you reach out to them, because ultimately their trainings book out very, very quickly, because
Yeah.
there's very limited spaces for their trainings, because they
Yeah.
are
Absolutely.
individualized. So
Yes, sir. Correct.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for watching. Be sure and tune in next month on November 3rd for our next AI Live, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and we will see you there. And we will talk about everything rheology.
Yep.
So bring all the providers who inject any dermal fillers, and we are going to talk about rheology that day.
Have a good night.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You don't know what you don't know.